A lot of security measures has been put in place to guarantee that the e-voting portal is hack-proof. Lawyers can also be rest assured that there are checks to prevent multiple voting and disenfranchisement of eligible voters. These are just some of the assurances given by my guest, Okpe Olugasa, the MD of Law Pavilion. As always, you can give us feedback on any of these issues or more via any of our social media platforms. And just before we go, let's quickly do a recap of some of the top legal stories in the news.
We begin with the report that the courts across the country have commenced their annual vacation. The vacation will span a period of 2 months, and the courts are expected to resume back sometime in September. During the period of the holidays, there will still be some skeletal services, as a few judges will sit as vacation judges to hear urgent matters. Before the vacation commenced, however, a few cases had to be rescheduled. One of them was the trial of the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, and his deputy, Ike Ekweremadu, alongside 2 others on charges of forgery of the Senate standing rules. The trial was stalled last week Monday before a high court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Senator Saraki, Ekweremadu, and 2 other defendants, a former clerk to the National Assembly, Salisu Meikasu, and his then deputy, Benedict Efeturi, were in court briefly and left as soon as they were informed that the court would not sit owing to the vacation. Meanwhile, a 4-man team led by a former Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice of Kano State, Aliyu Umar SAN, has taken over the prosecution of the case from the Director of Public Prosecutions of the Federation, Mr. Mohammed Diri. The prosecution team has picked September 28th for the commencement of trial. It was a similar scenario at the Code of Conduct Tribunal last week Tuesday. The tribunal adjourned till September all the cases slated for hearing last week, including the trial of the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, on charges of false and anticipatory assets declaration. The tribunal's head of press and public relations, Mr. Ibrahim Al-Hassan, in a statement said that all the cases slated for the rest of July and August had been adjourned till September after the vacation. The statement also indicated that during the period there will be a roundtable discussion involving the tribunal and other critical stakeholders within and outside the country to develop the Code of Ethics and Practice directions for the CCT to ensure fair and speedy trials. Despite the commencement of vacation at the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos, Justice Mohammed Idris last week Wednesday delivered a pending judgment on the recent hike in electricity tariff. The court nullified the increment in electricity tariff announced on December 21st last year by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. Justice Mohammed Idris ordered the NERC to revert to the former tariff and restrained it from further increasing electricity tariff unless it complies strictly with the relevant provisions of the Electricity Power Sector Reform Act of 2005. The judge, in his judgment, held that NERC acted outside the powers conferred on it by the Act and failed to follow the prescribed procedure. A High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting in Maitama, Abuja last week Friday dismissed the bail application filed by Senator Iyola Omishore, a former governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2014 election in Osun State. Justice Olukayode Adeniyi, in his ruling, held that the bail application was incompetent because it was filed during the period when an order obtained by the EFCC from another judge of the High Court of the FCT was still valid. Justice Adeniyi also held that the only option open to Senator Omishore was to await the expiration of the remand order, which had a lifespan of 14 days. After the expiration, he could then renew his application for bail. Senator Omishore was arrested on July 3rd. Since then, he has been in the custody of the EFCC over an alleged criminal investigation in relation to about 1.3 billion naira traced to him. The money is said to be part of the funds from the Office of the National Security Advisor. And we round off with the report that Mr. Yunusa Dahiru, the young man accused of abducting 14-year-old Ese Oruru from Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, has finally left custody after spending over 4 months in prison. The defendant's lawyer had been battling to free him from prison since March without success, owing to the stringent bail conditions handed down to the suspect by Justice Ajiya Ngajiwa of the Federal High Court, Yenagoa. Justice Ngajiwa had set a 3 million naira bail bond and 2 sureties in like sum, who must be resident within the jurisdiction of the court as conditions for the defendant's release. He had also ordered that one of the sureties must be a traditional ruler, while the second person must be a civil servant on grade level 12 or above. But the judge had to vary the bail conditions after he was approached by the defendant's lawyer.
And that's the program for today. If you missed any part of it, you can watch it again on our YouTube page. You also find past episodes of the program there, especially our interview with the NBA election chairman, Kenneth Mosier, SAN. Be sure to tune in next week for another interesting package of the program. I am Shola Shieli. Thank you for watching.